Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the cover reveal for my third book, Danu's Curse, and publishing information. I don't have a physical copy yet. That always seems to happen, but I have the cover, and the cover is going to be right here, right now. Oh my god, it's so pretty, right? Okay. I actually worked kind of sorta with my cover artist in a live stream a few months ago. He decided for one of his art streams he was going to do a cover, like a book cover, and I said, I volunteer as tribute. I will find and link that stream down below. It's really long, so I don't know if you want to watch the whole thing in depth, but we were there together with our other friends and we were just working on it together, mainly him, but people were giving him feedback and all that stuff. It was really fun. I hope to do that sometime again for like another book cover, but he's a bit busy. He hasn't been streaming lately. I thought it was a fantastic opportunity because I got to see how book covers are created, including mine, and I really wanted to focus on Ness, who is my main character for this book, and I think he found the best model. I was telling him, oh, I don't know if it's going to be easy for you. You might have to play a lot with the model. I don't know. I can't find something that is the beginning of the Iron Age of Ireland. So long time ago. Not really a lot of models doing that type of modeling. I'm using model a lot, but it's true. There's not a lot of people that are interested in historical accuracy, and though this is Irish fantasy, it is historically accurate in the sense that there was such a thing as Ireland. The clothing, the other accessories like shoes and bags, packs, what a stronghold or houses would look like, etc. and so on, that is accurate. I didn't want to just completely forget about the history of Ireland. So this is as accurate as you're going to get, and I think it's very on point. The ravens are actually the Morgaine's ravens. She has 3 ravens. Sometimes she just has 1, but for the most part, she has a number of ravens that work for her. And 3 is a very magical number for the Celts, but specifically we're going to talk about the Irish Celts. And I really wanted to have a forest, a lush forest, because Ireland was known for centuries for having magical forests that are so thick that it's dark inside. And you kind of see that a little bit nowadays, but the British took great advantage of Ireland when they colonized Ireland, that there was a huge problem with deforestation, and it was a continual problem. I think we're still working on bringing back the forests of Ireland because it was just decimated. I want people to remember and to understand that it wasn't always that flat surface, that green flat surface you often see in pictures if you visited. It's not supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be very thick with trees and bushes and flowers, and it's just wild. It was supposed to be wild, but the British took over, and well, you know, that's a different story. But I would like to remind people, not just in the cover, but in the story itself, forests, nature in general, very important to this story. Now, we follow Ness, who is magical. She, for an unknown reason, has the powers of the Fae, and she can call upon the Fae for basically anything. And she's kept away by her uncle, who is also what you would call a chieftain of one of the clans, the bigger clans during this time. And she's married off to her uncle's prized warrior to make peace with the clans around that area. However, demons from the underworld begin to rise and attack people, including her. And she is left with a very hard truth. And she has to decide what she does in response to a realization that her uncle is not as great as he has made himself out to be, and she was married off for not so great reasons. Also has to make a hero's choice, which is very well known if you are interested in Irish legends, tales, history, so on and so forth. Then you know that the hero's choice is a big deal, and she has to make a hero's choice. I really wanted to bring in as much history and connection to Irish legends as possible, but still make it my own story. So Ness is made up, I mean, basically they're all made up, except the gods and goddesses, even though they're not real. You know what I'm saying? Now, I really want to make sense of the Morgaine and her violence. Now, a lot of people forget, because I think the Morgaine and other goddesses, just in general, but Irish goddesses in general, are very played down, especially the warrior goddesses of the Celts, specifically the Irish. She is very violent. She is pretty close to what the original stories and tales and legends are. However, we do have to remember that she was probably even more violent, but Irish Catholic monks wrote down these stories, so they probably cooled it down for this very Christian audience that would come up over the centuries. Most people could not read at that time, and I don't think they would be really reading about tales of gods and goddesses. Probably more so gods, but not a goddess of war, death, and fate, you know. I think she is the equivalent of the Indian god Kali, and I love Kali, so I very much was interested in bringing the Morgaine into a more serious light, and wanted to have her portrayed in this book specifically as one of the main goddesses. Another main god is the Horned One, god of the wild, god of the forest, very important, and god of the wild beasts. So he is often seen with deer antlers and little cute little deer ears. He's more of a chill, I would say, chill god. But I think the diversity of the personalities of Irish gods and goddesses, whether they are male or female, it doesn't matter. It's just very refreshing to see differences between gods and goddesses of the Celts versus other gods and goddesses. Like, how many warrior goddesses are there? Not that many. And to continue on that path, how many societies that do have warrior goddesses allow women to fight? I'm waiting. It's actually, as far as I know, now I could always be wrong, what I have known, it's the Celts and the Norse, and that is it. We've got two cultures that have a warrior goddess or multiple warrior goddesses, and also allow women to become warriors if they so choose. Now, I really thought that was interesting, but I didn't want to make Ness a warrior. She already has magical abilities, so she can bring forth the elements, so she doesn't need to pick up a sword, right? And I think that's important because she's so surrounded by warriors. Other than her cousin Marie, she's just surrounded by warriors. Even the Fae are warriors, though they also have magical abilities, so they go back and forth. And I really wanted to show that a female character, main character, or just like any character in general, does not need to be a warrior to be strong or supported by her friends and her family and the allies that she makes during this war. Yes, can be a bit aggressive, but she's more thoughtful and she thinks about the greater good even when it hurts herself and her family and friends don't want her to do that. And that can also sometimes be a flaw because that means that she is not listening to good advice sometimes because she thinks that she is correct. And I really want to see more of that because really, when it comes down to it, a lot of things can be flaws, even if you don't think so. Even if, you know, something is, you agree with it because it's morally just and good, it can still become a flaw if you take it too far. And sometimes her, and not just her, but the people around her take things a little too far, and you can see that in the novel. And I'm really excited to say that this novel will be published September 1st of 2022. So if you want to pre-order, the first week will be $2.99, and then it will go up to its regular price of $3.99. And if you're interested, after everything that I've said, hopefully you are, the pre-order or the buy link will be down below for your easily accessible pleasure of buying the book. And I'm also going to do a deal for A Patriot's Tale, which is a historical fiction novel, but if you're interested in that, keep an eye out for that first week of what we call release week or publication week. There's going to be some goodies that are happening that week because it's a celebration. I finally published it. I was really thinking that it was not going to be great. Like, the draft wasn't going to be as easy it was to edit, but my editor was like, I love this book, and this is going to be the easiest edit of your life, and she was correct. It did not take very long to finish the edits, and that meant that I could publish earlier than expected. So thumbs up, I guess, for me for being very much of a perfectionist with my third book. It's going to be second book I publish, but it's my third book because The Two Foxes is still in the works regarding the cover specifically. I'm just waiting for the cover for my second book. But I promised you all that I was going to publish 2 books in 2022, and this makes it so that I can do that. So I'm just kind of switching around my timeline for publishing, and that means that Danu's Curse is going to be coming out first in the publication line between the second and third book. Hopefully that makes sense. It was a little confusing to me as well in the beginning, but you have to be flexible for an indie publishing author. And during these really weird and often ridiculous times, you do have to be very flexible because stuff happens. Luckily, we were on the same page because we were streaming the third book's creation, so that actually only took 6 hours for him. Amen, thank you very much. At least I'm getting a little lucky with my third book. Maybe because it's Irish and it's the luck of the Irish, I don't know, but I'm going with it. We're gonna publish the first week of September for my third book. So keep an eye out for updates and all of that stuff in the comments section in the description box below, but also on my other social media outlets, and that information is under the shameless plug information that I always have on my YouTube videos. It has everything you need. Thank you so much for watching and coming to my cover reveal and publication information video on Danu's Curse. Thank you. Bye-bye.